I'm just making a recording because on August 1st, 2021, I came down to Long Beach Island, a place I've been coming for more than 35 years. I was told that there are part-time police officers that they add on during the summer who absolutely harass and are horrible to people. Yesterday, which has only happened to me twice because I have type 1 diabetes. I literally was driving and I felt a diabetic um, shock coming over me where I needed sugar. I needed to get home to my insulin, but it was about 10 minutes away. So I stopped at the Acme and I went there to just kind of go get some chocolate. I even started dialing 911, and then that's all I remember. When I go into the diabetic shock, I basically pass out, and I wasn't bothering anyone. I was at, like I said, the parking lot of the Acme. A police officer came, knocked on my window, immediately asked me what I was doing there. I told him I was awake right away, and I said, I have diabetes. I'm sorry. I said I stopped here because I didn't want to drive while I was in that condition because I didn't want to pass out and God forbid hurt somebody or, hurt myself, but of course hurt someone else first and foremost, an innocent person driving. The police literally destroyed, like literally went through my car. They got me out of my car. They immediately started searching my car. They tore it upside down, inside out. They went to the sunroof, opened it up. The back is all this garbage everywhere. I'll have to, like everywhere, just stuff, things that were in my bags. They really made a mess of my car, and this is usually very clean. Um, they had me do a series of sobriety tests over and over. About 15 to 17 police officers showed up just to deal with me. I was nothing but cooperative, polite, explained my situation, and I told them that I have documentation. I don't have it with me, but I said I do have documentation that I could have faxed right to them that being in a diabetic space that I get into when my sugar is very, very low. It goes down to about 30. Um, it can mimic signs of being under some sort of influence, but I wasn't that way. I was fine when I came to. I literally did for probably 7 different officers a million tests, the sobriety tests, field tests, and my ankles were swollen out to here. I'm just gonna flip this around. Um, anyway, I they immediately had me do all the tests. I did everything perfectly fine. I asked for my cell phone so that I could also have footage, because I asked them if they had a body cam on their car, and the police car, which was far away from me anyway. They had me brought far away from the car and their car, and they did not let me get my cell, nothing. And they promptly told me, got very nasty fast, told me to turn around, face the police car, put my hands on my head, and they arrested me. I was in shock. I was very upset. I'm here on vacation for a week at my mother-in-law's home that I've been doing the last, I don't know, 12 years. And the police literally brought me to the police station. I didn't want to tell them anything because I didn't like where they were going. They seemed like they were trying to trick me about things. Don't do drugs. I'm not on drugs. I passed the 2 tests they gave me, the marijuana and the other test for alcohol. So they just said I must have been on something else. And so I guess police can just say you must have been on something. So they charged me with a DUI, even though I wasn't driving. They charged me with leaving my car unattended. And I said, but I was in my car. And they said, but you were sleeping. So that it doesn't make any sense. I was in my car, but that means it was unattended because not sleeping, but I was literally in a diabetic almost coma. I have reams and reams of medical documentation for this because a situation came up many years ago, which I told them right away because I didn't want any issues, and I wanted to inform them of my medical history. That it does happen where I have to pull over, not often, but it's happened a few times. And the police where I live have, the first time when I was driving, trying to pick up my daughter, an officer who was very overzealous, like these officers, arrested me because I was lost looking for my daughter and thought my driving was off. But when you're driving and you're new, because we just moved there, I didn't know, I couldn't find her preschool. She started that day, so I was just kind of looking for it. So I was arrested, and guess what? All charges were dropped because they gave me a blood test. This was in New York State. I'm in New Jersey, as I said, right? I believe I said at the beginning of the video. So in New York, I was arrested. They called CPS because I had told them like an idiot that I was on my way to get my daughter. So you can't even be polite and honest to police anymore. That was used against me, and CPS was involved, which was hell because the CPS agent completely believed the police officer, even though it's innocent until proven guilty. So thankfully, they saw that my children were in a wonderful home and there's nothing wrong with them. And after that all happened, I went to court after 9 months of going every day for a month, every single one day a month for 9 months. And finally, I had to get a pro bono attorney to be there because I couldn't this was going on for 9 months. And I think because the DA didn't want to show that my blood was completely clean. So I went to see an attorney, a civil attorney, about what happened, and he said there was nothing that I could do because the police are protected 6 ways to Sunday, that they can just suspect that you're on anything. It could even be cough syrup. And if they feel it impairs you, they can arrest you. So that really makes me feel safe, the way that the police have been behaving. I completely am devastated because down here in Jersey, same thing happened, arrested me. Instead of, saying, oh, that's, we should get you 911. I showed them my phone and that I had started dialing 911 and I stopped at the 1. They took my phone, they took my wallet, and they took my keys. They had my car impounded, even though my husband was probably 2 minutes away and could have picked up the car. They said it had to be impounded. Fine, that's their law, even though, police can do what they want and be humane, and they didn't care. So that was about a $350 fine, but I don't even care about that. The worst part is the woman officer who cavity searched me 3 times in front of the male officers outside, which I must make a complaint about, because I don't think you can just cavity search someone with no gloves, a woman and a woman. I don't know, and in front of the men, and I'm devastated. And the police lied. They told me. The woman then came in, who I was so violated by, until asked me if I had children, because there was evidence that I had children in my car, their books, a car seat that was in our trunk, because we're not using it right now because we have the other car here. And I asked her, why are you I didn't want to answer anything about children because I feared CPS, even though I said there's no way they should call because there's no child in my car. There was no child on here. So every time someone gets arrested who is innocent until proven guilty, does that mean a child gets, the children get CPS, which is a nightmare? Because then those social workers come in and they do a lot of things to try to take your children away. So literally, the officer kept asking me, the female officer, who I'm going to make a complaint about molesting me in front of her colleagues who were laughing. And she literally said to me, I'm sorry I'm saying literally, I don't even know what to say. I'm devastated. And she just said that she was making girl talk with me, and we were in a room alone, and she just was doing chit chat, asking me if I had children, how old they were, where they were, who was watching them. I said, I never even said I had children. And she said, give me a break. We saw the car seat. We saw the stuff in the car. And I just said, I'm not answering any of your questions. And I said, in fact, I'd like an attorney. And she said, there we don't give attorneys to people for things like this. And the young man came in, said the same thing. I said I wasn't Mirandized, nothing. I said, don't I have any rights? Is there due process at all? They said, oh, this is no big deal. Well, it turned out to be a big deal, because she said to CPS, well, on the police report, they charged me, like I said, with unattending my vehicle, even though I was in it, but because I was in a diabetic shock, that counted as me leaving it unattended. I don't know if that sounds insane. It sounds insane to me that I, because I was very ill from a debilitating disease I've had since I had gestational diabetes. I have type 1 diabetes. But I left my vehicle unattended because I was having a shock and called 911. They erased where I was starting to call 9, because you could see on my phone, I showed them, it said 9-1, and the time that I tried to call about 45 minutes earlier, that was gone. And then they told me they found a medication in my car. So now I don't know what it was, they didn't tell me, and they were charging me now with a felony because I didn't have a prescription for it, which I don't know what drug it was. They ransacked the car. God knows what they got. I don't know why any police officer would want to just like do this to someone, lie and screw them as much as possible. Like, I literally, if they really needed to impound my car, fine. If they had to do that because of some law called John's Law, they said, they could have done that, and my husband could have just gotten me, and this could have been over. Instead, they've arrested me. They have so many charges for me literally being passed out in my car. DUI, I said I wasn't driving, said doesn't matter, there's intent to drive. But I was calling 911. I can't, I never believe, people think honestly that the police are just after certain people. They are horrible. A lot of them are horrible people who, I guess, hate their job and have a very big ego complex and like to screw people. There was a sadistic nature to them, just like the first officers who I was proven completely exonerated. There was a sadistic nature to that sergeant who had ordered his officer to arrest me, even though I had a blood test that was clean, that the DA was afraid to present. But that case is closed and expunged. And like I said, I tried to tell them about that so that they could get, just a basis for why I was in a parking lot at the Jersey Shore, that is the quietest place, instead of 2 minutes down the road at my home, or my mother-in-law's home, that I would love to have been, instead of a parking lot. And literally, I'm saying literally, and I'm sorry, they also they called CPS, even though I said, are you trying to call CPS? Is that why you're asking questions? She said, of course not, the kids weren't with you. CPS showed up. And even though I'm in Jersey on vacation and live in New York, they're going to transfer the CPS case to New York because they have so much to do, I guess. And the CPS guys were here, and there was a lot more added to CPS, that there were caplets in my car. Well, the only caplets I could find that they found was gas X. So I'd love to know what caplets, because that's not even on the police report. So there's definite proof right there of a lie, because on my police report it just says that I had something else in the car, which I'm blown away by, but capsules. So that wasn't even on the police report. And you know what? The thing that bothers me most is my kids, because they're the kindest, sweetest, innocent children who did nothing. I mean, I could say I did nothing because I didn't, but I don't care about myself as much as my children, and they don't deserve to now have CPS, who have to do in New York State a mandatory 2-month investigation. And the problem is I went through this already. So I don't know if that's going to help me or hurt me, that that case that they investigated with me 5 years ago, my blood was clean. I'm hoping it will. But still, they'll investigate. And we really just cannot go through that again. You have no idea what CPS puts you through. And if you say no to anything, they threaten court orders. And the worst case scenario of all is taking your children away from you. Your innocent children, and my kids honestly are like they're the kindest. If anything, I can say they're kind, nice children. Like, they had CPS come to my mother-in-law's house, wonderful, and they literally said, sorry with literally, I'm gonna stop saying that. They said my kids they couldn't believe how nice they were, and they said they're obviously well taken care of, but still, because this is America, doesn't matter, they're going to investigate for 2 months. But meanwhile, I know for sure in New York City, because there's too many people, children have died because CPS agents have 15 to 20 cases on their desk and they can't get to them all. But in these small towns, they have nothing better to do, and I'm sure they get a feather in their cap for every child that they remove or do something with, and it's something for them to do. And I guess that's what happened here in Long Beach Island, that is a ghost town after Labor Day. So now I've just found out that the officers are part-time. They don't even work for the force during the year. They look about 20, and these are the people that lied, that called CPS, God knows what else. I mean, I asked them if this goes to the paper or online, because that's the new favorite thing, to humiliate people who are innocent till proven guilty. And when they're innocent, you can't get your face or the article off online. So that's what's going on right now. And if anybody has any advice or something, because something needs to be done about these police, because no matter how many protests there are, no matter how many people die, they're not going to stop. In their own communities, they are God, and they do whatever they want. And I don't know what their problem is. I don't know why they don't tell the truth. I don't know why they try to screw people. I don't even know if I want to come back to New Jersey, because I'm in New York, and there's list of charges are ridiculous. I don't have the money, especially after COVID, to hire some attorney to fight all of this, like, the illegal search and seizure for no reason. Literally, all I got out was, I have diabetes. I'm sorry. I was dialing 911. I mean, what if I died in jail? Like, thank God I had some sugar before I passed out. So now I get to go home from the vacation and go to CPS. They'll be coming. And I have to deal with coming 4 hours to deal with a court case with all these charges, and they added a felony because they found some sort of medication that I've never heard of, that I didn't get to see. They wouldn't tell me what it was. And then they added another medication that isn't even on their report, like I said, that's a capsules they found all over the car. Which, like I said, all I see is Gas X. This is the capsule I found. That's all I found. So maybe that gave them the idea, yeah, let's really butter up this BS case and add, we found capsules. I mean, it's frightening what the police are doing, and I don't know. I will never come back to this town again. A place that I have loved and cherished for 35 to 38 years. I'll never come back ever again after what happened here. I mean, I literally am sick. I said literally. I'm sick, and I pass on the car, and they arrest me. Instead of seeing, I'm showing them I started on the 911. Didn't matter. They saw me in a parking lot at 11:30 at night on a very quiet little beach island, and they were like, "We're gonna arrest her." Because I asked the woman who molested me, what charge? What did I do wrong in the sobriety test? She's like, it's not exactly what you did. It's a totality or something. I don't even think she spoke right. This woman. I don't. She's like, the totality of what you did. Being in a car in a parking lot at night. That, and you couldn't really follow the light. You were following it with your head and not your eyes, and you couldn't make your eyes crossed. These were literally the things I was told I was arrested for. I said, literally, again, I'm sorry. And now all of a sudden all these drug charges came up, and they've decided to involve my children who weren't even with me, and I didn't even tell them I had children. They just assumed, called CPS, and CPS came to see if I had children, and they did. And now uh, we are going to have to deal with them, which is a nightmare for 2 months. And I don't know. I don't know what to do about New Jersey. I need to go and talk to some higher up or something, because you cannot do this to people, And by the way, their salary is paid for us people who rent or people who own, like my mother-in-law, and then we come down here and spend money. That money in taxes goes to their salary. See, the police don't get it that we're their boss, but they do what they want. They'll keep killing people. They'll keep attacking people. They'll sexually assault people. I mean, there's an article down here about, there's a lot of kids that come down here and there's a lot of, young girls in little belly tops that the police, some of them probably never could get in high school, and they slam them up against cars. They've kicked young men, between the ages of 16 to 22 in the head until their hats have come off. Something needs to be done about this, because they hire, like I said, not full-timers, because it's a ghost town. Like, there's literally nobody here. It's a complete summer town. So they have a few officers on duty during the whole year. And then I was told from a local person that they hire several young part-time people. And I just wonder, where do those people go after this is done? Are they just deputized? So there's a real big problem. And I know it's like Long Beach Island, or nobody cares because it's like some quiet little town. But these police are running amok, and all you see here is them pulling people over and over and over and over again. And God knows, I can't imagine how many they arrested. So I guess I'm going to check, since it's the next day, tomorrow, because I was also sworn to by the same woman who cavity searched me, and demanded that I take a urine test, which I had no problem with because I didn't do anything. I took all the breath. I mean, I don't know, how do you arrest someone when they pass the breathalyzer, and they were in their car not driving, and you give them a driving while under the influence when they're not driving? It was the assumption that I would drive. What if I had continued my 911 call, or I woke up like I was and fine, and I would have left my car and went with the ambulance? It's just despicable. So if anybody has any advice, I'd appreciate what I can do. Thank you.